Hello, duckies and dice fiends. Welcome in. It is Tuesday. That means it is time for the Table Talk Show. I, as always, am your host, Kate Purcell. We are once again trying out the local vocal captions. I have adjusted the speed a little bit, so we'll see if they behave in like a multi-person conversation thing, or if I'm going to continue to tweak them, not tweak with them. Word choices. We are here today with the incredible producer to the stars, DC Lasser. You know him. You love him. At least I do. But first, we need to get through some other things. David, who the heck is you, and what the heck is we doing here?
I am conflicted about missing Gen Con because Gen Con is a convention, and I do want to finally go to a convention. Look at it, you, Pax you. However, Indianapolis. And that's all I will say. But no, I'm David, as all of you should know by now. And this is the Chaotic Wholesome Tuesday Table Talk Show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff. How to be a better GM, how to be a better player, how to make markdowns, how to be a better player, or how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
And speaking of Gen Con, our incredible guest is going to be there as well. Also, I will not physically be there, but a thing that I got to work on will be there. So I'm going to hide my face here for a second. If you are going to Gen Con, please stop by the First Exposure Playtest Hall to go check out Slaughter Night. It is a tabletop game that pays homage to 90s slashers. It is semi-cooperative. It is very fun. It's all about killing in the most extraordinary way, because you don't win by body count, you win by flair. And if you do go by, say hello to Ben, who is one of my favorite GMs ever, who not only wrote this game, but he also made this game, but he also wrote the Doom TTRPG, which was just revealed at QuakeCon. And if you look in the book, you'll see my name there in the credits as a playtester. Here's a look at what it looks like. Like, it's a really cool, the prototypes are in and they're beautiful. And these are some of the figures that you'll be able to get if you kickstart this, but please go by, give it a look. You'll make me very, very happy because I don't get to be there and see it in person. Stop. David and I are here Tuesday. That's all we're doing for the moment. Weird Wilds War, sadly, is canceled this Friday because Gen Con, so we won't be playing. But we'll be back Tuesday with another guest. All that out of the way, now we have to talk about Gen Con for another reason, because we have him, the man, the myth, the legend, producer to the stars, DC Lasser. DC, who the heck is you? Oh, before I turn that over, thank you so much, Lurking Writer, for the resub. 18 months, you are incredible. Thank you. DC, who the heck is you, and what the heck is you doing here? What are you telling us about?
Hey, I'm DC. As stated, you can find me all across the internets under DC Lasser. That's DC Lasair. Go to my website, dclasser.com, to find all the wonderful things that I do. And actually, even if you don't like anything I do, just go there and click the buttons, because that makes the graph go up and shows me that people are interacting, and I enjoy seeing the graph go up.
Mine go up is always good.
Yeah, line go up, always good. That's all you have to do, really. You can do that now while listening to us.
And
Dude.
we've posted it in chat. You have a panel at Gen Con.
I do. It's if you want to know the basics of producing a TTRPG actual play, you can sign up for my panel. There are only 4 tickets left, so get in on that. It'll be the best hour of the con. So come on in, check it out. And if you can't make the panel, I'm going to be there all weekend, so come by, say hi. I look like this, except in 3D. There's a whole nother dimension to me when I'm in person. It's amazing.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
I mean, have you planned, and I know this is going to be a dangerous question for you, but like, have you planned what hats you're bringing? Do you have a show schedule based around hats?
No, there's always a couple hats, and depending on the mood, how hot it is out, it's just there's at least two in the car with traveling with me. So
Always fair. Always fair. So DC, you've organized a few things in your time. A few panels, a few productions. And for some reason, you decided that David and I were cool enough that you wanted to come here and reveal a brand new thing that you have been working on here. Gods alone know why.
Because you're awesome, and I like you too.
Yeah. No, you. No,
Great
you.
show.
So
Why I come by every week.
we so appreciate you, and we appreciate all of chat. Y'all are awesome. I've said it so many times, and I say it every opportunity I get. This show was never supposed to happen. It was supposed to be a gap filler between after we finished Godplane and the next thing we were going to run. And people really liked it, so we kept doing it.
Yep.
And here we are, years later. Like 4 years later.
Yeah. Over 100
Wild.
episodes.
Wild. So, thank you all. Literally, we would not be doing this had people not shown up and said, we like this, keep doing it. So, tell us about the CASS system.
All right. So I was watching some videos on YouTube, as I do, because I go down massive YouTube rabbit holes all the time.
I don't know anyone who does that.
Yeah, who does that? No one here, surely.
Mm-hmm.
Not Wikipedia either.
Nope.
The neurospiciness is not strong in this group.
And I was looking at things like the Daggerheart campaign frame. I'm like, this is brilliant. And then I saw a video on someone had an adventure design video, like how to put together adventures and creating separate colored boxes for separate things, and very well organized. I'm like, that's an interesting idea. And then I was reading the latest D&D adventure book, Dragon Delve, and opening it up, I'm like, okay, I like what they're doing on how they organize the front of the adventures. This is cool. And, then I thought about my own session notes, and I'm like, I need to combine all of these together so they're all in one place. And I can make this an Obsidian vault and do it in Markdown because I love both those things. And by the way, if you're making TTRPG products, put your stuff in Markdown. I will pay you extra if you give me a PDF and a Markdown version. Markdown makes things searching and preparing an adventure so much easier. So that's my plea. Do it. And so I came up with CASS, or Campaign Adventure Session System, CASS. And so with the Daggerheart community license, I was able to make the campaign frame just taking the outline from their SRD. Like they don't make it an outline. They just sort of in the SRD they list all the pieces and give you an example of it. So I'm just like, that's really good. So I'll include the license in my thing, and that'll be the campaign structure. And then the adventure structure is kind of based on both the things I mentioned. So now there's a folder for your adventures. And session notes are based on the session notes I use. So that's just my outline for every session. And the idea is you go from the campaign frame to the adventure within that campaign to the session notes that make up each part of that adventure that you're running.
Amazing.
And so there are separate folders in there for campaign, adventure, and sessions. If you're using the Obsidian Vault version. So I have 3 versions for you. I'm briefly tangenting off my own thing.
Do it.
There is the Obsidian Vault version. If you like Markdown and you just want the pure Markdown main files, I have those. If you just want them as a text file, there's a zip file in that folder that was just posted in chat. That is text files. The overall goal is to keep you writing without having to go to a menu to figure something out to reformat a heading or whatever. And Markdown makes that easy. You know, a couple hash marks or hashtags, as the kids call them. I've called them number signs most of my life. So
Pound sign.
pound sign. Yep, pound sign too. Yeah. And it's just made so you can go through and use these prompts to fill out all these things. And in the Obsidian Vault, the real gold is if you use the Obsidian Vault. The other things are neat, but use Obsidian. I have provided instructions on how to set up the vault and do all that. And I've provided outlines how everything should work in each section. There's templates, so you can create a new note and just add in the appropriate template, whether it's campaign, adventure, and session. And here's the thing you can do in Obsidian that may concern a few people. If you put your campaign in the campaign folder and your adventure in the adventure folder and your session in the session folder, you do not have to organize them. You can, because Obsidian allows backlinking. There's a properties menu on each outline, and you can backlink to the so say you can backlink to the adventure in the session outline. You can backlink to the campaign in the adventure outline and in the session outline. And then I created a folder called indexes. And if you backlink to there, you'll have your campaign, the adventures in the campaign, easily clickable. And this is also in preparation for when Obsidian publicly releases their bases or their databases plugin, so that you can just create a field, and as long as you've filled it out in the properties menu, you can have these beautifully organized tables of everything separately. So you don't have to bother moving around the adventures and the campaign so they're in the right order, whatever. As long as you tag stuff properly in the properties, it's going to work magically.
I mean, you had me at less work. You don't have to go back. Because in the green room, we were talking about organization, and specifically the difference between Kay's organization and my organization. Because Kay has not only an Obsidian setup for the thing that we're working on, but also this incredibly organized Google Drive with all these folders about, like, you know, locations, people, and just all the different things that we'll need. And for at this point, I think when it was running, it was 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But for like the 2-year-long game that we had, I have 2 email drafts in in Gmail. And sure, those emails are 20,000 words, but it's literally 2 text files. And the only reason I have it in Gmail is so I can access them anywhere. Because you never know when you'll be sitting in the airport and be like, oh, this is a good idea for an NPC.
Yeah, I am a very big fan of Obsidian. The 3-year-long home game that I've been in, another player actually set that up with an Obsidian Vault. And then I had taken some kind of disgustingly detailed notes. And another player took those and did like who, what, where, and like broke them all down. And then the Obsidian Vault player took that, dropped it into Obsidian, and it worked perfectly. And so now all I have to do is go in and when we were playing, type up everything, put it in there, and then just start adding in like link, and it's done. It's super easy to reference. Like, it makes it so much easier. In fact, I regret it a little bit because it does make it, you can't access our Obsidian for our home game, the setting that Dave and I are working on like your phone anymore, because I just imported all of 5e's rules. They're just everything you need to play 5e, including the spells. It's not the 2024 edition, but like everything's in there and just very quickly clickable. So if you're like, oh, I forgot my character sheet, what do I need? I want to cast this spell. I know what does Fireball do? Oh, just go in and search Fireball. There it is.
Fireball.
You've got everything you need to know. But that's a fairly robust database, so it does require a bit of RAM to load.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I pull that into a separate one?
And you hit on another point I was thinking about when I was making this. There are more complex and things to it because you can do a lot with Obsidian. I wanted to make it as frictionless, as easy to follow through. That's why it's mostly just text. And you keep your hands on the keyboard, keep typing. Use the arrow keys to get down through things. And you have a fairly clean looking document at the end of it with, headings that are certain sizes, and Markdown is very easy to learn. It's a syntax. There's a whole website. You can just look at that and know everything you need by the time you're done reading the first page of the Markdown document.
Yeah, Lurking Writer says, I haven't had the opportunity to realize any of this yet, but I applaud the effort and work you put into creating it. Look, building structures and frames, work frames, is some of the most important thing, because after that, it's easy. So genuinely, thank you. And Rex says, yes, keep it simple and slick. And that was part of the joy of just converting once all of the Obsidian was set up, every week some of our sessions are like 6 hours long. So some of my notes end up being 20 to 30 pages.
Oh, wow.
So I go through it all. I like proofread. I correct my horrendous typos. And then I copy paste it into Obsidian. And then it's just go through and bracket, 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 close bracket. That's all I have to do after that. It's great. And for those of you who don't know, the brackets cause a link. And that's all you have to do to link. It's like, oh, there. And then you can set up, Obsidian will let you set it up with different pseudonyms. So like if a character is like Eddie Castron, doesn't matter what's in there. If it's any of those, it'll figure it out. It's great. Sorry, David, now you can go.
Oh, go ahead.
What I've told many, many clients over the years is as long as you're typing, as long as you're writing, you're making progress. And anything that interferes with that, you have to trim out. Like pretty much every beginner writer I know will write 2 pages and then go back and edit them. And I'm like, you're never going to get done at this rate. Just keep going until you hit the end. Kay and I obviously write the charity game modules that we run. And there are times when we'll both be on a call sitting in front of the computer for an hour, not saying anything, because just slamming keys. And having tried many different organization programs over the course of my career, the ones that are always better, the ones that are always good, are always the ones that are intuitive, fast, and unobtrusive. It's like if I don't have to think about how this and tag things and did blah, blah, if I just go click and then I'm back at it, great, fantastic.
I can do bracket, first letter, tab, bracket, and move on, and the link is there. Great, done.
Yeah, so that's also in the properties menu, you can do the backlink thing. So double bracket, start typing that name will appear up. So when you're linking your adventure to a session, just type that backlink, and if you have a note for that adventure, it'll be in a menu, just select it, and then it'll be a property. So when the databases later come out, you can go, okay, I need my sessions to be, part of this database, and we're only including the entries that contain this adventure word. And so that's a future update, but that's the plan. I was looking ahead.
Yeah, future proofing is great. Also, chat is freaking killing me. Rex and Lurking Rider, Gandalf. Keep it simple, keep it slick. Wait a minute. Followed by type, you fools. Gandalf, maybe. Followed by thou shalt not do an editing pass. Lord of the Writings. Y'all are killing me. Thanks, y'all. Y'all are the best. So yeah, like, it is really cool how you're literally, like, you're not just thinking ahead and future proofing. You've gone like, what features are coming and how can I be set up for it? Because that's my thing, is I'll future proof as much as I can, but I forget to go check what features are coming out. I forget to check what's coming out soon. How can I plan for that? Not good at that. I'm really not good at that.
But I mean, it was just like I happened to read Obsidian forums and be in their Discord and like, oh, this is coming. Oh, okay. Neat. I'll think about that.
While we were still recording the Starfighter Gate Emergency Power podcast, because it's recorded and just in final editing passes now. You know, they announced like Starfinder 2E was coming out, because y'all, I did not think that Starfinder was going to get a 2E. I didn't think they were. I thought there's no way. The player base is so much smaller. There's no way they're going to put in that kind of time and money. And then they did. And I'm like, ooh. They put out, you know, the Solarian was one of the first classes. And I'm like, ooh, let's look up Solarian, because that's what I play. They're not a charisma class anymore.
Boo.
I can't play my character in 2E. I'll just have to make a new one. Like, that's as close as I get to future proofing. It's like, ooh, what will this be like? But that doesn't work.
Yeah, I still have complaints about 5e 2024 and Heritage. Like, you mean no halfsies? No crossbreeds? Think of all the slurs I can't say now. How dare you?
And you're real mad about Spiritual Weapon.
Yeah. Look. It's a whole rant about action economy that I'm not going to go into, which is what the number one tip I can give to people who are designing combat encounters in 5e is more things with lower HP are better than fewer things with big hit point pools. Because action economy is anyway. But yeah, spiritual weapon, the only thing spiritual weapon is good for is like, this balances action economy. When you have like 20 things on the board and it's 4 of you, boop, now there's 5. The end. That's it. Motherfuckers never hit.
David isn't salty. That's not, by and large, Shadowheart's fault either.
Ooh, listen. Look, Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the best games ever made, full stop. However, if Shadowheart did not have Spirit Guardians, if she didn't have Spirit Guardians, throw the whole Shadowheart away. Ooh-wee. I will take a Lae'zel over a Shadowheart if Shadowheart didn't have Spirit Guardians. Because that is the one spell we used the most. And apparently they made it better in 2024, which I have not checked out yet, but I have seen people complaining about it online, and I'm like, listen, let Shadowheart have this. Let her have this.
Literally all she's got.
Right.
Oh, there was something I wanted to bring up going back to CASS real quick.
Please.
You know,
Yes.
we have rabbit
Absolutely.
holes, and I understand.
Of course. Not that we
so
do that
the-
ever.
No. The adventure outline part of it is probably the most complex thing in there, simply because you start off adventure title, key moment, then adventure background, key NPCs, monsters. You list all that. Then below that, I have what I call the scene text key. And again, that's designed to keep you typing. So if the part of an adventure is NPC dialogue. I have you type the pipe character, you type D for dialogue. Put a space between the pipe and the D. Sorry, that's important. So pipe space the letter D space pipe, and then you write out the NPC dialogue. You put the NPC name, and you write it. And so instead of relying on colored boxes to show this, and like your read aloud text is an R in between the two pipes, and so you have a visual reference just in text of what these different parts are.
That's very cool. That is very nice and streamlined. And yeah, because David and I, most of the modules that David and I have written and run on stream. Hey, Jason, welcome in. Most of the modules that we have written and run on stream are written in Google Docs in a 2-column format.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of highlight, bold, italicize, how do we make sure this gets seen, noticed? What's really important? What can we skip? Like, having those visual markers is really nice. For those of you who are just joining us, we are sitting down with DC Lasser, producer with Stars, who has just released the CASS system, CASS, which is a tool specifically, you can use it other places, but specifically designed for Obsidian to help you write, organize your adventures, and keep writing so you don't have to click away.
And the adventure outline, like I said, it came from Dragon Delves and this video I saw on YouTube, and those are all the inspirations are also listed under the instructions tab, so you can watch all those. And the video I saw had these colored boxes and everything, and a comment below that said, well, some of these colors aren't colorblind friendly. It'd be useful to have symbols and things. I'm like, you know what? That's an excellent point, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, what would keep my attention if I'm looking at a long thing of text and I need to scan, I need to know separate parts. So for me, the pipe, the space, the letter, and the space and the pipe work, because if I didn't include those spaces, it was just too crowded. But with the spaces, it just visually helped me go through there. So, you can change those. It's just a text files. You can change however you want, but if the outlines help you, and like I said, the session notes, that's exactly what I type up for my home game every single time. And my session notes though are only each thing is maybe a couple sentences long.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go from there. I don't, if I'm going over 2 pages, I'm like, this is too much for my session notes. So
Yeah, David.
Also, I remembered the name of so Scrivener. Scrivener is something that multiple people have sworn to me is just the best thing ever. I have purchased 2 copies of it. Scrivener comes with a tutorial. I have gotten 3 slides into the tutorial both times I bought it. Have I gotten anywhere beyond that? Have I used it for absolutely? Nope. Just give me a blank email. Give me Windows Notepad that definitely doesn't save your shit if your computer crashes.
Lurking Writer says formatting is important, but everyone has their own preferences for what they like / what helps them interpret the information easily. And yeah, there are some. David knows if I am looking at my phone outside of my house, if I am outside, I can't read dark mode most of the time. Like my eyes are just like, And I'm like, I cannot tell Discord to go dark mode on my desktop and light mode on my phone. It drives me up the wall because I can't read the dark mode in the sun. Also, David Rex says, I use Scrivener at first, and while it's good, it does not work for long campaigns in his experience. Notepad and Notepad Plus or Notepad Plus Plus. I forgot that was a thing, says Lurking Rider. Yeah, Google Docs is where I spend most of my life.
So with the Markdown version of CASS, you can open it now in regular Notepad for Windows 11. And Windows 11 does keep your stuff if it shuts down. It should keep it open. And so, yeah, you can just open it in Notepad. But there's also just the text if you don't like seeing the Markdown stuff in there. There's also the text files. You could, again, just open in regular Notepad. Or, the Markdown files are there. If you don't like the Obsidian version of Markdown, you could use the VS Code thing or whatever you use to read Markdown files with. But trust me, the Obsidian vault's where the gold is. So.
Not that DC ever goes deep on any of these things. Like if DC
Yep.
says,
No,
no, the Obsidian's the best one, I believe because DC goes deep. So yeah, you got the, I mean, I feel like you got this done and announced just in time to leave for Gen Con.
Yeah. Like, here you go. You have problems with it. Bye. I'm at a convention.
I mean, I feel like the biggest problem people are going to have is if they don't already know Markdown. Because it is, like, it's not a whole new language, but it is a bit of a language to learn. But yes, why don't you? We know you're running a panel on how to be a producer with only 4 tickets left. But like, what else are you doing at Gen Con? Tell us your Gen Con plans.
Gen Con plans is hanging out with people and doing my panel. And I got in on the, because I am a huge Gunpla fan. Not at all. I didn't get 2 starter sets of the card game or anything.
Oh wow!
That have the models in it. Bandai is running every hour. They're running a session about building the Gunpla models that come with these card games, because next year they're going to have a Gundam Assemble game that's like a Warhammer type thing. And so they're like, yeah, sign up for an hour-long session and you get a model, can put it together, paint it. I'm like, okay, well, you got me hooked.
Right?
So
my friend Pan is going to lose their mind over that because they've never gotten into Warhammer, but they love the models. And I feel like if you combine Gundam models with a Warhammer type game, they're going to be in so deep.
So, a small rant about Gundam. And this is actually a rant that Kay has not heard.
Those are rare.
Right? When I say I'm an anime fan, and have been an anime fan for a long time, most people of my generation, or like the generation after mine, started watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. Like, that's where they got their stuff. I was watching an American dub of Samurai Warriors at 5:30 in the morning on weekdays in 1992. So before anime was cool, I was watching it. I was just like, oh man, these cartoons are sure dope, but boy howdy, do the mouths not match the words at all. I wonder why that is. But it wasn't until last year that I saw my first Gundam show. And it's particularly odd because I love Mecha Gundam or Mecha anime to the point whereby, even though it is not my favorite, multiple people in my life think that Neon Genesis Evangelion is my favorite anime of all time because I'm always referencing it. Except it's not my favorite of all time. It's a very dark. Look, if you haven't seen it, it's very dark. It's very dark. But I finally sit down and watch Gundam last year. and I tried to watch the TV series and the original TV series, which was like 1979 or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Even I didn't do that.
And there are two problems with that. One, it's 54 episodes of an anime from the 70s. And two, I don't think you can get a Japanese language English subtitle version of it, at least on like any of the streaming services that I've seen it on. And I watch all my anime in Japanese. And look, I used to be one of those people where it's like, if it is trash. If you watch dubs, you are trash. You are a trash human being. You're a terrible person. How dare you? Because my argument has always been, if you see if you go to like a film festival and there's like a French film or a German film, it's not dubbed. It's in French, it's in German, and then you got to read the subtitles. And then also, there's tons of research that says that reading subtitles helps improve your reading comprehension. Like, my writing partner, she's neurodivergent, so she just rocks with subtitles all the time. And also, like, the whole audio in the streaming area thing is a whole different thing. But her kid learned to read faster than his classmates because all of his shows had subtitles. That, and he was playing RPG video games at like 6. But yeah, like, I understand why Gundam was a revolutionary thing, but boy howdy do I hate every single character in that original series. Ooh wee, do I just not like any of them motherfuckers?
I watched the original Gundam just because I watched they took the, I don't know, 3 seasons of 54 episodes and they condensed them down into 3 movies.
Yep, that's what
I'm just like,
too.
I'm just watching these. I forget all that. I'm so glad I did that because it's not great. But then I watched other Gundam. I'm like, okay, I kind of like Gundam Wing when it was on Toonami. The ending got ridiculous, but fine, it's the anime. And then, like Witch of Mercury came out, and that was wonderful. And I really like the new Gundam GQ, as I call it. I know it's G-Qua, but in my chat, it was
whatever.
G-Quax, yeah. It was
overused is what I call it.
All right. Brand would labeled it Gundam GQ. And it's just Perfect. Gundam GQ. Also, the image of a Gundam being on a GQ magazine with like a suit and tie is very amusing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lurking Rider says subs over dubs, but dubs can still be okay if that's all that's available. Better to have the thing than not at all. Also, dubs made without a true understanding of the source material has led to some of the funniest / most fun shows that went in completely different directions. Yeah, I will say when the Ghost in the Shell movie came out, like the new one, I got to go see it in theaters. And we sit down and I start watching, and y'all, it's beautiful, right? Like Ghost in the Shell is. And I realized the mistake that I made. Because we were good fans and we went to see it subtitled. And then I had to decide if I was going to look at the pretty pictures or if I was going to read the subtitles. And there was no way to pause or rewind because it was a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the right choice, but also a mistake.
And as someone who was a former dub hater, to all the people who are still dub haters, 2 things. One, people watch things for different reasons. Like a buddy of mine, often he works from home and he'll just be doing like not data entry, but like pretty mindless work stuff. And so he'll put something on a side screen to watch while he works. And it's like you can't read subtitles and work at the same time. It's why I got through like 8 seasons of Criminal Minds and 11 seasons of NCIS. Was I paying attention? Absolutely not. But it did help the data entry at 4 o'clock in the morning go a lot faster. Like I'm fortunate enough whereby I don't have any trouble reading. And if you have like dyslexia, for instance, so you really got to focus. So you're really like missing things. And look, some of the animation in anime is some of the best art ever made. And so depriving yourself of that just to read words on a screen, don't do.
Lurking Rider's the solution. Watch it twice. Read the subs the first time, watch all the pretty pictures second go around, or vice versa. Yeah, that's basically what I had to do. And I will say, David knows, I watch a lot of documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm generally not like locked into the documentary. I'm playing a game or cleaning the house or doing the dishes or trying to satiate the demanding cat. So I can't read subtitles when that happens. And again, most of the time it's documentaries, but a lot of times I'm like, ooh, this is a foreign documentary. They've got English dub. Great, I'm going to watch it. But then they only dub part of it. Like there are some people that they just won't, they'll decide, no, this person you need to read. And so then I'm just missing huge chunks of what's happening because it's in a language and I'm on the other side of the room from my TV and can't like, yes.
And one last thing is a lot of people who are like me, who are like, oh man, subtitles only, no dubs. We were watching fan dubs of things back in the mid 90s on VHS tapes that we had to order on eBay. Like literally people in their apartments with shitty microphones doing the voiceovers. And fun fact, a lot of the major voiceover producers in Texas, because there's one big company that does it in Texas, were originally fan dub people from like the mid 90s and have been doing it this whole time. But the dubs have gotten so much better.
Hey, Lamia.
Like I've had multiple people say to me, they're like, what do you mean you saw Cowboy Bebop in Japanese? I was like, of course I did. He's from Japan. And they're like, the dub is better. Now, have I seen the Cowboy Bebop dubbed? No. But the fact that it made such an impact and is still considered one of the best animes of all time with the dub speaks to how good dubs have gotten since I cast judgment on it in 1995, which is a long time ago now.
Yeah, so before eBay was a thing, and there were these things called VHS tapes, right? And so you would, and because we had a local anime club in town, and this was mid 90s, somewhere in there, someone knew a person, or I don't know how the networking happens, but you send them VHS tapes, and then they have it subtitled. They dub them onto VHS, and then they mail them back to you just for the price of shipping. And that's how a lot of anime was watched by the anime club.
Yes. Lurking Rider says since 1995, which was like 15 years ago, right? Right? Right?
Right.
So, yeah.
I
remember. I remember going to, there would be, small town Texas, there weren't really conventions, but there would be like special booth takeovers in the mall, right? And they'd have vendors come and set up in the mall in the middle walkway. And one of the places was just a dude with like racks of VHSs. And you're like, what have you got? And he's like, what do you want? Right? And he'd have a small list of anime. And you'd be like, can I have that one? And he's like, cool, come back in 3 hours. And he had a whole bunch of like VHSs in the back, and he'd pop it in, hit record, and then he'd hand you a blank, unmarked VHS tape with that copied over.
Yep.
A buddy in high school, and this is back when there were VCDs. So like not even DVDs yet, but video on CDs.
Video compact discs, everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And my buddy would order a stack of just random anime because on eBay there were sellers that are like, you see this spool of burned burned CDs? It's all anime. You want it? $30. So he'd order it, get it delivered to our school because we went to boarding school. And the guy did not differentiate between anime and hentai.
Oh no!
It was just like, oh, it's all Japanese animation. Burn, disc, go. So we're 14 years old. Throw it in a random disc and be like, that's an awful lot of tentacles for this mecha anime. Wild. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Wild.
I remember when I was in college, I got some anime that was like fan dubbed. It wasn't even fan dubbed, it was fan subbed. So half of them didn't really make sense, right? It was on a CD. I put it in and I could actually, like, you could actually watch it. And then years later, I'd moved, out of college. I've moved twice. I've moved across the country twice at this point. I find this little thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't watched this in years. I find a thing that still has a disc drive. I slap it in. It was like this big on the screen. No joke.
Yep.
Like the entire resolution was that. And I'm like, how did we watch this? How?
You get 320 by 240. Oh,
It's
God.
like the moment I have never felt older. I have never felt older than when they announced Final Fantasy VII is now available on the iPhone. And I'm like, no, that's like 4 discs. How can you fit? That's like 4 gigs. That's a 4 gig. Yes, and Full Rubber Bot is like, have you stretched recently? Yes. If you have these memories, please stretch and take your ibuprofen.
Right.
How did I
My
watch
first-
this? Our eyes were lower resolution back then too. Yeah, like we didn't know any better back then.
My first anime was Star Blazer. Well, yeah, Star Blazers in the U.S. And it was on at 6:30 a.m. On a local network on Saturdays. And I would get up on Saturdays, 6:30 a.m., sometimes earlier, and the screen would still be on station identification for like 10 minutes because it would be the first thing that was aired. And this is early 80s, everybody, just to let you know. And
It's
then
not
I was
like
kind
it
of
is
hooked
now.
on this anime thing. And I knew what was going on, though, even at, I don't know, 10 maybe. Because they... one of the things they did for Star Blazers was the doctor, he would be drinking something. He was clearly drunk. But the bottle, they had it say spring water instead of sake. And I'm like, you're not fooling. This kid knows that's not what's in that bottle.
Yeah, the Sailor Scouts were cousins.
Oh, yo.
But then I remember my brother and I know I'm going to trigger some other people here. My brother and I walked into Blockbuster and rented X and Ninja Scroll.
Oh, wow.
Those were just
Right.
on the shelf at Blockbuster
Yep.
next to Card Captor Sakura.
They really just lumped them all together. They're like, these are kids' cartoons. Here you go.
It was like, I remember the I think it was Ninja Scroll with the snake coming out,
Yeah.
where the snake should be coming out. My brother and I are like, eh. And so we're like, okay, that was weird. Okay, we're not. And then later that night, we're like, okay, we're having dinner. Let's watch like the movie that we rented for the family. It was Monty Python, The Meaning of Life. It was a very interesting day. Yeah, there was a French cartoon called Snarky and George that used to air at 5 a.m. on Saturday mornings. It was the only reason I woke up before 9 a.m. on a weekend. Yeah, this is not anime, but there was a cartoon that would air mornings in the 90s called Exo Squad.
Oh, yeah, I remember Exo Squad.
I'm going to say something that's going to make a lot of people judge me. I've never seen The Matrix because the plot of Exo Squad is the plot of The Matrix. down to plugging in and everything.
You've never seen the
I've
Matrix?
never seen it. No.
Oh boy, I know what we're doing next time I come over.
Hey, Matt, welcome in. Like, because people are like, oh no, it's this. And I'm like, oh, so he's like the chosen one then. And they're like, yeah, how did you know? I'm like, because that's Masala. And they like plug in and they go into this thing and they control it through a jack in the back of the head. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So it's, and I just start describing the plot and they're like, oh, so you have seen it. No, that's Exo Squad, my dude. It's just aliens instead of whatever happens in the Matrix. Like I just literally described that. It's very funny. Exo Squad, love the cartoon. Actually watched it last month. Yeah, Kaz Takagi was my guy.
Listen, I remember sitting in the theater watching Avatar, and to be clear, James Cameron's Avatar. And I remember going, man, this really reminds me of something. This is, and then I thought of like one of my many Tim Curry sexual awakenings. And then I was like, oh, this is Fern Gully. And then like I'm watching it, and I'm like, is this a shot for shot Fern Gully remake? Like, what the fuck?
I got mad at Avatar because at the time I had a mini saltwater aquarium, and I had 2 little clownfish and a shrimp who was an asshole. Shrimp are terrible creatures. They are jerks, in case you don't know. And I had another creature that lived in it that was called a fan worm. And in case you don't know, all those weird frond things in Avatar are just fan worms. That's all they are. So everyone starts like, oh, you've got to see Avatar. And like, I'm not a big person for like, oh, you got to see this because of the graphics. I'm like, I'm also the person who gets bored during car chases. Like, I don't just get over with, stop doing the vroom vroom and get on with the story. Like, I find them that's why I haven't seen much of Luther, because every time I start, there's this massive car chase before it gets to any plot. And I've just tuned out by the time people start actually talking. But everyone was like, no, you got to see it. And they start showing me like screenshots and clips of like, look at this thing. Have you ever seen this thing? This is the weirdest, coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, that lives in my bedroom. That literally lives in a small box of water in my bedroom. But that was all anyone could tell me about was the graphics and stuff like this. And I'm like, okay, that's in my bedroom.
But DC. And keep in mind, I've only seen like, so for anyone who's not initiated with Gundam, there are like 50 series out there.
Yeah.
There are like 97 different series and movies. 150 different Gundam series you can see. But out of what you've seen, what is your favorite?
Out of what I've seen, definitely the new one, Gundam Jiqua, and Witch of Mercury are my favorite. And if you really want to start with Gundam, and the various Gundam series all have different themes because almost all of them take place in different timelines, except for a few of them take place in the main Universal Century timeline. Then all the other series are different timelines, they say, and some are really wild and everything. But the new one and Witch of Mercury is really well. And if you want to start with Gundam Seed, because it is like the original one, except it was made, like early 2000s or something. So the animation's updated. The story moves better, just because that, better animation, better thing. And if you just want kind of what encompasses most people's thought of Gundam, just watch Gundam Seed.
Those are fighting words, MLP. Gundam, a plotline more convoluted than Kingdom Hearts.
I was just going to type bold, but true. Because when I first started, I'm one of those people where it's like, I want to see something in its totality. I want to watch it from beginning to end. Like, I once had somebody tell me, they're like, oh man, this TV show is really good, but you could skip the first season. And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't skip the first season. That's integral to the plot. And they're like, it really isn't. And I'm like, I understand that you've watched every episode. I still don't believe you. And so I go on the internet and I'm like, Gundam watch order. And when I tell you that there are multiple articles on multiple websites from multiple people who are like, all right, here's what you do. Here's UC, and here's this alternate universe, and then here's another, and then like year 79 is important, but year 83 is important, and you watch these things and you don't. And I'm like, I need a spreadsheet to keep track of all goddamn things. But it and I think my two biggest complaints about Gundam is, one, at least half of the shows aren't any good. Like, the plots are terrible, the characters are terrible. Like, the one main article that I have followed is like, here's everything in order, and here's whether you should watch it or not. And about half of them are like, listen, my guy, don't do it. It's 7 seasons long, and it's all garbage.
Yeah.
That's 150 hours of your life you're not going to get back. Just watch One Piece if you want to watch all that.
There is a series called G Gundam, and it's not my favorite, but it's so ridiculous and over the top. I just keep watching it every now and then because it's a totally, at the time, it was a different take on Gundam, and now there's been other Gundam kind of like that, but it's kind of wonderful in its weirdness as far as Gundam.
And my other complaint is there's very little indication in all of the official stuff for a Gundam series whether it's related to the original storyline. So, like, Gundam GQ, you don't figure out until like the third act of the series, like episode like 7 or 8, that it's not like they're referencing what happened in the original series. It's like, this is very important to the plot. And if I hadn't seen the movies that recap the series, I would have had no idea how important any of that stuff was. Whereas if you see the one that friend of the channel, Kato, recommended to me, which is excellent, Iron-Blooded Orphans, one of the best animes ever made, full stop. That has precisely zero connection to it. They're like, Gundams were a thing back in this war, the end. And then it tells this whole other independent story that's really, 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 look, it's dark, and I do love my anime dark, but if you've got the stomach for like a dark political anime with giant robots fighting, just watch it. It's really good.
Lurking Rider says the existence of Gundam GQ implies the existence of Gundam Variety, Gundam Time, and Gundam Cosmopolitan.
Listen, I would watch Gundam Cosmopolitan, okay?
Before we
Same.
wander too far away from anime, because I'm going to pull us in a direction, but to throw this out, because I know we've got some anime nerds in here. Years ago, I watched an anime, and the name of it, I think it started with a T. It was a Japanese word. Do not remember, but the translation of the title was Hide and Seek. It was about these kids in a dystopian city future thing. I watched it. It was excellent. I cannot find it anymore. And if you Google anime Hide and Seek, it's no good. If anyone finds this, just give me a shout, because I really want to watch it again. And I think at one point it was even on like Netflix, so it wasn't even like a weird, obscure one. But that's what I'm after. Lurking Rider says you can skip the first season of Doctor Who, mostly because those episodes don't exist anymore. Although all of the audio files survive, the original tapes were either re-recorded over or destroyed back in the early 70s. And that's sad. David's on a mission.
Yeah, I immediately looked it up. But okay, a very quick thing about Doctor Who. Kay does not like David Tennant. And yes, I'm airing your business.
Why you got it? Why you got to make the internet hate me?
And so they haven't like sat down and watched Doctor Who. And
I've watched some. I've watched
Yeah,
all
but
the
you haven't.
episodes that Jack Harkness is in.
fair. Super fair. Also,
I've got my
Kay
priorities.
Kay is the only Doctor Who fan who doesn't like Doctor Who. Kay is like, oh man, Torchwood, that's what... Kay went to Torchwood places in the UK when they visited the UK.
I went with Lurking Rider.
Doesn't like the Doctor. And that is so fantastic and so brilliant.
Look, if you came at it the way I did, you would feel the same. Because here's the thing. If you start with Jack Harkness and you think Jack Harkness is the main character, the Doctor's an asshole.
To be fair, the Doctor is an asshole, full stop.
It's extra so if you're like, who's this weird, goofy prat who's not as attractive as Jack Harkness?
And the whole point of the David Tennant arc is that the Doctor is not only an asshole, but has been an asshole for a long time. And the consequences of his actions finally catch up to him.
Yeah, how much did I watch? So I watched one episode of Eccleston, or however many was it Eccleston, and then I watched a couple with Tennant. Again, I watched the episodes with Jack Harkness, and then I went, yeah, I'm good.
Which, fine. Look, not every piece of media is made for everyone. Like, I typically do not like sitcoms and typically do not like comedies, which is why I recommend The Good Place to everyone. Because if The Good Place won me over and I legitimately found it funny, that means it's one of the best things ever made. And again, I'd argue that The Good Place is one of the best sitcoms ever made for a number. I could do an entire hour and a half long talk show episode on why The Good Place was brilliant. I'd spend a half an hour just talking about costume design. But yeah, like not everything is like I don't like most time travel sci-fi. Like sci-fi is my favorite genre. If you're bopping around in time, I hate body swap. Boy, do I hate body swap. And there was a stretch of like 5 years in the 80s where every goddamn sci-fi movie was a body swap movie. Half of them featured either Tom Hanks or the kid from the Wonder Years, whose name I can't remember.
Fred
And I
Savage.
might, Fred Savage. And I might be blowing it out of proportion, but there were at least two. There were at least two Fred Savage body swap sci-fi films. God, I hate it all. Nope. Hate them. Absolutely not. And it's okay if a particular piece of media is not for you. But if you don't like The Good Place, you are wrong and your opinion is bad. The end.
Like I've long said, I don't like The Fifth Element, but also my dad looks exactly like, what the fuck is his name? Fuck.
Bruce Willis's
Han
character.
Solo.
Good. Oh yeah, well Harrison Ford.
Yeah. And Harrison Ford's real creepy with a younger girl in that. So, there's a good reason I didn't like that movie.
Look, I was a full-on adult before I realized that The Fifth Element was a satire.
Yeah.
Like, and like when you really sit down and think about it, it's like, oh no, this is an incredibly subversive film. Like Luc Besson had no business burying a subversive satire in this quirky slapstick sci-fi action film. You jerk.
Okay. We probably need to try and get back on topic.
Yeah.
Because that was a great one. But also, we got a whole, I think that was it. Kakaranubo. I think that might be it. Not Lurking Writer. Mr. Live Producer. We got TLW and MLP, and my brain is like, yeah, this looks like it. I think this is it. Thank you. Kaku Rinbo, Hide and Seek. Ready or not, here they come. Yes, I liked this one. This is it. Thank you. Made me happy. So, it has been a hot second since I put this link. Let me. Oh dear. Did I close? No, it's over here. So Sorry, we got completely derailed, and now my brain has just wandered the heck away. So there is a link to the CASS system. For those of you who are just joining us, this is a really cool campaign organization, note-taking structure tool built by the incredible Mr. Live Producer. You can import it into your Obsidian. It does all sorts of organization for you just automatically. It's got colors, it's got markdowns. It is going to make your campaign organization much, much easier. And also there's just a text file if you just don't want to mess with Obsidian, which you should. Everyone should fuck around with Obsidian.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Use Obsidian. But if you go to that link, there are 3 zip files that I made. One's the Obsidian Vault, one's the Markdown files, and one's just the text. There's READMEs in those zip files. If you've never used Obsidian before, I have a little README on how to get your vault open, and then there's READMEs for everything else. And then once you open the Obsidian Vault, there's right on top in big capital letters, it says instructions. So I'm hoping you open that folder first and read through them.
Who reads instructions?
You said Mr. Live Producer instead of mine. That was fine.
My brain, look,
Fine.
Lots of... Here's the thing. When I've met too many, like when I've spent too much time with too many people who do similar things, because like when I met Mr. Live Producer and DC, I'm like, these two need to meet. These two. And then my brain is like, which is really funny that we haven't had you on in a while. And Mr. Live Producer, who's in a drastically different time zone, I cannot believe you're here, doesn't always get to come by. So the day you're on, Mr. Live Producer comes by. And
Right.
my brain just short-circuited. So that's what that is. Imagine the same... Oh. Yeah, David and Rex are continuing to tangent in chat, and I'm not going to read it out, or else we will go back on another tangent.
So, I've been struggling asking you this question because I don't want you to like give away your whole panel. But do you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to talk about at your panel and like how do you make the magic happen? Because
Sure.
having run streams, and will be running streams again, and literally pressing the button myself, it still is all fucking magic.
Yeah. So I believe one of the emails you sent me, and this probably ties into that, is why share knowledge. It was one of the things you put in email, and so I was video tech most of my working life, right, and the whole time. So I accumulated this stuff. Internet comes along, and things, and my brain just goes, "Oh, I get this. I understand OBS. This is kind of like a switcher at a TV studio." And so I've divided it up into pre-production, production, post-production. And basically I cover, okay, and this talk is more narrowly focused on getting into the actual show and doing that. It's not necessarily about all the stuff leading up to the show and all the stuff after the show, but I do touch on these things. So it's about gathering your assets and then making sure you have enough time to put together those assets. And then when the show is happening, I go, okay, now it's that day. Double check all your buttons. Do they work? Reset your computer if your computer doesn't have a lot of memory and you need it, or just shut it off and turn it back on. Then turn on all your programs that you need and shut off everything else. You don't need your cloud backup to do this, so shut that off. And yeah, I'd go through some of that, and then sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No worries. We never do that here.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to me literally every day, multiple times a day.
And so I give some tips on going through the process while you're live and setting up people's cameras, because we've had, and this gets into kind of the sharing of knowledge thing. Like television, TV has been, people were working on this in the late 1800s, right? And forward, and so film before that, and so we have all these years and over a century of how production works, what things should look like. If you do a medium shot, what does that mean compared to a headshot, compared to a long shot? How much headroom should you give somebody? And we have all these things. We don't have to reinvent. We don't have to make the wheel. We just have to expand the wheel and keep going with it and running with it. And so when I started doing these talks and made all the videos, I found 2 videos on YouTube that went over the production tech, and they were already a few years old at that point, and they're good, and there was some really solid stuff in them, but technology keeps going, and I'm like, we need to keep this knowledge going and get it out there and get everyone up, because if we want to be taken seriously ever as a thing that can eventually make money or to go to investors, there has to be certain production standards, and we've already proven what works in TV and film and video, and we can use all of that and change it around a little bit because the internet is a different medium, and still go on, right? And expand and go on. So what I attempt to do is give some of that knowledge and just be like, okay, here's your frame, checking out your lighting, checking out your people's lighting, being forgiving with your cast, because we are in such different situations than normal productions that sometimes they don't have a camera that can move. They just have their laptop screen that's their camera, and they can only adjust that, and that's the view you get. And so how to kind of maximize that angle so it looks good on screen, and building those ideas up so everyone can go out and make even better things based on these ideas that have worked for a very long time. And I go through that, and then I hit on giving yourself forgiveness, because we know we can test everything beforehand, but as soon as we hit the live button, something happens and things go wrong. And just giving yourself some grace about doing that and what to do and how not to freak out and just be prepared and things like that. And then I go into the post-production side. Are you, if that happens to be you, which a lot of times it is me, are you editing the video, and then what platform are you uploading it to? Because YouTube does different requirements than some other platforms, and how to maximize that out. And I don't touch on those things. I just mentioned that there's different things, and then I go over tools and show OBS demo if there's time, and that all takes 20 minutes, and then I just try to take questions.
I really love 2 things that you touched on. And the first was, being forgiving with your cast, because, we had, I played on a channel with someone who is no longer in the space and had a really cool, the overlay was beautiful, it all looked really, really good and professional. But this person required all of their cast to stay in such a narrow box that, like, one of the people was neurodivergent, and sitting still was very difficult for them. But the box was so narrow that this person, as producer, was like constantly yelling at them about, no, you have to stay still. You have to. And it's like, then zoom it out more. This person can't
Mhm.
stay still. So you do it like, yes, the most beautiful overlay can be incredible. It means nothing if your cast can't use it. And the other thing that I want to touch on real quick, and then I'll let you go, David, is I love talking about giving forgiveness with yourself when things go wrong, because things will always go wrong. And I just want to say, like, we've had a lot go wrong during these shows, during live games with like people we really respected and wanted to impress, and stuff went wrong. One game, everything went so bad, we stopped in the middle of the game, stopped the stream, switched the production to a completely different computer, then came back and finished the game. And we got to the end, and I was like, everyone, I am so sorry. Right? Like, I am so embarrassed that that happened. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for. And every single person on that call was like, I am in awe. I am so impressed that you finished this. I have been on more than one stream where something less minor, something much smaller than this canceled the entire game. And you worked through it and came back. And that comment from more than one person, like everyone agreeing, really struck home with me of like, people don't remember how everything went bad. They remember how it ended. And if you find a way to work through it, it just makes the fact that you worked through it that much more impressive, that, oh, this bad thing, which could have ended the stream, no, you worked through it. And several of them have come back to be on our channel. So clearly everything going wrong didn't scare them completely away. So just, yeah, remembering to give yourself grace is so important. You were saying so. Oh, I think we may have frozen a David.
Oh no.
We may have frozen a David. You can train someone to switch a show, but what makes or breaks a stream when it comes to something goes wrong and how to fix it, error is only an error when the public notices it. Yeah.
Yep.
Something breaks the stream. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Live Producer. And like sometimes people see like, oh, that all went very bad, but it's still going. Okay. We lost. There he is. That didn't take long.
There he is.
And again, even audiences are like, oh, wow. Yeah, that was real bad. And now it's better. And they're very impressed by and large. Anyone can make an error. It only becomes a mistake if one refuses to correct it. Yes. It's how you choose to deal with it that matters. We will forgive a lot if it's clear you're trying to do something. Thank you, Lurking Writer. Go, David.
Yeah, like, I think one of the many feathers in our cap is our ability to recover from when something breaks. Because we've had a couple of like disastrous breaks. Like Kay said, we had one where we had to shut down one computer and fire it up on another computer. There was a time where Kay's internet was less reliable, and I was at my friend's house sitting, and we transferred our whole streaming setup to his computer and ran a whole game doing that. And like other things, like there have been times where like Kay is running a game and is like GMing and role playing and typing furiously, being like, David, you have to fix this. This thing is broken. And I'm over here, like, just like move windows around and try to slap things together and like cutting images out of a thing and pasting it into OBS and be like, oh my God. But it also makes it way more impressive for me when major companies have big streams. Like there was a big Warframe conference, I want to say last weekend, and they had 30,000 people watching it, and it was live streamed from the convention center. And I'm just like, wow, not only did they press the button so that it went on time, but there was no like hiccup. And like Kay said, not only have like our players been in games that have been shut down for like lesser problems that we've had, but Kay and I have been on a call watching a stream in another panel or in another screen, and I'm like, is that my internet or did they? And then Kay's like, no, it's not. And then 30 seconds later, there's a tweet or a Blue Sky post where it's like, sorry folks, we're done here because whoopsies. And then on top of that, like, the number of players who either couldn't make a stream or games we've had to cancel because of the elements, because there was a storm. And then like we had one charity game where one player couldn't show up at all because she was fighting with her internet for 2.5 hours. Like they're just, and then we've had games of people with different quality mics, a bunch of people with laptop webcams, which at this point, why are they even putting webcams in laptops? Because they're always terrible. They're always dog shit with microphones. Like I would rather listen to you speak into a can with a string attached to it than a webcam microphone, a laptop webcam microphone. And yeah, we've been able to the point whereby people have now. Keep in mind, Kay is the technical genius between the two of us. Kay is the one that has spent the hundreds, if not thousands, of hours, and I think only now is approaching an equal amount of on-screen time with off-screen time in terms of setting things up. But people have come to me and be like, "Hey, how do you do this?" And I've literally been like, I have to ask Kay that question. 1, and 2. Here is the link to DC's channel. Just watch all these videos.
Go watch Tech Friday. Seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah. And that's the only way to learn how to handle these things is to do it live. So you have to have the ability to forgive yourself of that didn't go well, but I fixed it. Or, but I know how to not put myself in that situation next time.
Yeah, because you simply can't prepare for everything. And sometimes, especially because we're doing this over the internet, we're not in studios. We don't all have the fancy studio cameras and things like that. There are things just simply out of your control, and other things you're like, oh, that can happen. Oh, I didn't know that could be a thing. But being able to have backup, kind of knowing your tools is probably the biggest thing you can do, because then you go, oh wait, okay, so that failed. Need a minute. All right, let's try this because I've heard this works or something like that, and that can help you a lot. But sometimes it's just, yeah, that failed, so now I can look up how to fix this in the future if it happens again, and because you can't prepare for everything.
Yeah, the first time, and I wasn't streaming a TTRPG, it was me, streaming video games, just me. Stuff went wrong. I had no idea how to fix it. But because it failed, I learned how to fix it. And I got better, and I knew how to conquer that, and it just becomes a constant. But yeah, and that's even that statement of like, you can't learn everything by reading. You can't learn everything by doing tutorials is part of knowledge sharing. And we've said many times, a rising tide lifts all boats. If you have something cool and you just sit on it and you refuse to share it, yeah, you've got a cool thing, but like, you're not actually helping the space, right? And yes, there are cool gimmicks that can get more people to watch your stream, but a cool gimmick isn't going to make you a channel that people are going to want to be on, right? And if you have a cool gimmick and you refuse to share it, and it becomes known that you have this cool thing and no one else knows how to do it, and you're refusing to share with anyone, people in this space will notice that. And they will remember, because as we've said before, so much of this space is vibes and reputation. And part of the reason we have the reputation we do is we will share the information we have.
Hey, see, this is what pisses me off about like secret family recipes, because like as everyone knows, I am into cooking. I love making stuff, and very few of the recipes I make are mine 100%. Like like all the like Southern Creole Cajun stuff I make is my mom's, and I'll tell everybody this is my mom's. And I remember years ago I was at somebody's house and they'd made jambalaya, and I was like, this is good. How'd you make it? And they were like, oh, it's a family secret. I can't talk. And I'm like, bro, it's jambalaya. Well, one, it's jambalaya. Two, my mother makes a better jambalaya. My jambalaya recipe is better than this one. I was being courteous, my guy. And also, hey, there might have been something different about your jambalaya recipe that would improve my jambalaya recipe. Like the one thing that I can confidently say I make better than my mother is red beans and rice. Because I tried different methods of doing and I figured out something that makes it just a little bit better. But it's like my mother was famous for her 7-Up cake, to the point whereby if we showed up to a family function or a church function and I wasn't carrying at least one 7-Up cake, they tried to send me home to go get. And I'm like, for one, I'm 12, I can't drive. Two, there's no cake at home. They're like, I don't care, go get it. Like. And my mother would tell everybody, oh, I learned this from so-and-so back in Texas. And there are literally thousands of people who have had my mother's 7-Up cake because that lady was willing to share the recipe with my mother. And it's like, why would you want to keep something that's this good from being shared from other people? And part of the reason why is because grandma's great cookie recipe is on the Toll House bag. Because that great chicken recipe is just condensed soup and paprika. Because they don't want to cop to the fact that it's not some deep ancient secret. Mm-hmm. And they got it off of the packaging.
I have a pumpkin butter bar recipe that is to die for. And there is a certain class of people, like, I'll give David the recipe, but I went to the house of my company lawyer whose wife runs an all organic co-op. You know, he's old school Hollywood. There's a park in Hollywood that was taken from his family. It was the family land and house, and now it's a park. That level of old school money. And people are asking, I'm like, y'all don't get this recipe. Because this recipe is mostly like box mix, right? Y'all don't get it. Anyone else, yes, but y'all are expecting it, and I'm not going to give it to you because yeah. But we are nearing the end of our time. We need to give DC the last chance to talk about CASS and talk about the panel at Gen Con. So I'm gonna force this back because we got to let everyone get back to their evenings. Though I've had so much fun with this chit chat. But yes, as very quickly before I hand it back to you, DC, Lurking Writer said. If you got something cool and you're refusing to let other people know how to do it, you're doing the WE games with the Nemesis system. People will remember this. But
yeah,
DC, tell us one more time, what the heck is the CASS system?
Yeah, so I made the thing that's free. It's the campaign adventure session system, and it's not necessarily for world building, but organizing your world into things that you run for people. And it's another one of my free things. I have a bunch of TTRPG resources that I've made over the past 6 months, because everything's going to Obsidian and Markdown now because I'm obsessed. But I have a bunch of them. Take a look. They're yours. I mean, if you want to contribute something to the cause, I have coffee, Patreon, whatever. And if you have questions on it, my website, dclacer.com, there's an email button right there. You can tap that, send me a message, or come by when I have Tech Fridays. That's kind of my office hours, and let you go. But if you also want a one-on-one, the link is just dclacer.com. The bio.link is the old.
Oh.
But thank you for all that. And so, you know, this is just free stuff, and a lot of it is, you know, some things I can't charge for because, you know, like CASS uses the part of it has the Daggerheart community license in it, right? And I can't do anything with that. So, but it's in there because it's useful, and I want to give proper credit to everything. And you know, and so everything I pulled from is listed in there. And yeah, just talk to me. And if you do want a one-on-one session, well, that I charge for. But by and large, you know, I don't see a point in not sharing these things. It helps everyone to grow because all of us started somewhere. I started off as being very frustrated, like, yeah, there's just this thing I'm missing, and I can't find anyone to tell me. And it was annoying, and I didn't want to have other people go through that. So I'm like, no, if I know something and can share it, I'm going to share it, and hopefully it's entertaining and you learn something.
Yeah. And that's by and large everyone in the space. And again, by and large, there's small exceptions, but just about everyone in this space is like, if you have a question, ask me. Now, don't ask me. Don't show up in my DMs and go, I know nothing about streaming. How do I start? That, my friends, is a bridge too far. But it's like, hey, you did a really cool thing. How do I do it? Right? Hey, like the whole reason our Lines and Veils tools exist is because I was like, I want to figure out how to do this. Who knows Google Sheets? Who knows how to maybe do this in Google Sheets? And Matt appeared and was like, I can help. So it's made with Mimics and Misfits because, that wouldn't have happened without him. I could do a thing that helps other people not have to do the thing in the future. That it is my duty to do the thing. Exactly. Also, I put the link in there before, but DC is going to be at Gen Con. Go check out the producer panel. His producer panel. There's only 4 tickets left if you want to go do that thing. If you're looking at how to do it, can't get it better than from DC himself. Also, quick segue. If you're going there, go into, I'm going to turn all these back on, the first exposure playtest hall and go check out Slaughter Night. I got to help playtest this. It is written by my favorite GM, who also wrote the Doom TTRPG, which was also just revealed this week. It's really cool. It's really pretty. My name is in that rule book. And cool figures, and go check that out and say hi to Ben for me because I miss him. I haven't gotten to play our home game in months because he's been here in America doing all this stuff, and tell him that I like him.
Tell him to go home already.
Please. Please. 100% this. If a friend asks for help, you help them. Exactly. DC, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for sharing all the wealth of information that you do. If you are not already following DC, please do. Go check out Tech Fridays, which now that I'm unemployed, maybe I'll actually be able to make on a more regular basis. I just have to remember to look at a clock, which is, often the challenge there. Thank you again for all that you do for this community. You are always a wealth of information, and we so appreciate your coming out and sharing and just being awesome you. As before, I'm Kay. I'm here every Tuesday doing this. Weird Wilds War is not happening this week, so the next time you'll see me is here next week doing this again when we have another guest. Who do we have? We might have 2 guests next week. Yes. We are going to be talking to Grant Nordine and some of his folks. It's going to be great. I am very excited about that chat. Overlay will be a little weird because it's going to be a 2-guest panel. And David, who the heck is you and what the heck has we been doing here?
I am also incredibly grateful for DC and for all the people who make stuff, because while it is always my first instinct to go, hey, Kay, how do I do a thing? There have been times There should have been more times, but there have been times when I've been like, maybe I shouldn't bother Kay about this. Maybe I should go and like do the homework myself and stop being lazy because Kay is so busy doing all the other things. And DC is one of the very important resources. And like, just like the rest of the internet and arguably all of human civilization, everything's propped up by a very small percentage of people doing the lion's share of the work. Like every time there's a furry convention, the internet is in danger because so many of like essential IT people are also furries. But yeah, but yeah, I am incredibly grateful for all of the resources, especially all of the videos that utilize things that I will never ever use, because that knowledge is important too. But this is and has been and will be the Chaotic Wholesome Tuesday talk show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better player, how to be a better GM, how to get OBS to work after you've updated it, because Jesus fucking Christ. Look, one of the number one things I've learned from both DC and K is never fucking update your shit right before you go live. Do it after.
Never.
Do it 2 days before. Don't do it right, because if you do it right before, it's not gonna work. It's gonna be bad.
It's always gonna go bad.
How to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity, so that everybody can have a good time.
Rex says furry do the lion's share of the work. This is Wolfie Erasure.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Thank you all again, chat. You are all, yeah. OBS is the enemy before streaming. Exactly. Thank you so much, chat, for hanging out. Thank you again, Lurking Rider, for the resub. I say this every week, but I'm going to say it again because it's been a rough week for me, obviously. And every time I get to come on Tuesdays and hang out with y'all, my night is better. It's always improved. So thank you so much for just making things a little bit better just by being. So as always, we're going to go find someone to raid. Be kind to yourself. Be excellent to others. We will see you next time. And thank you once again, DC.